internet. So, this vlog has been a long time coming, I think. Today, I kind of on a non-planned emergency trip. I'm gonna get my roots redone. So we're gonna talk about hair dye and what you need to do if you are dye curious. Let me have a moment. Now, I stay pretty on the up and up with my hair for the most part. Also, this time around, I have a hair color that masks when my roots are showing a lot better. You can see it pretty clearly, but you know, when it's back here, not so much. Which is something you might want to think about if you're not up for high maintenance. That is a huge thing. If you are not up for any kind of high maintenance with your hair, crazy colors are not for you. I'm going to be very upfront about that. The amount of work that goes into my hair, the amount of money that goes into my hair is a little disgusting. I'm not going to lie. Those guys. Now, first and foremost, before pretty much any hair dyeing happens, you need to get it bleached. Even if you have fairly light colored hair, you're probably going to want to bleach it, because even just a little bit of a bleach wash, which is like shampoo and bleach or whatnot, not normally, like, you go look up a formula and DIY that shit. Don't just put bleach with shampoo. That's not quite how it works. But just a little bit will get will basically open up the follicle, the pores and whatnot in your hair. My brain is so half dead. Essentially, it's gonna help the color stick better. Without that little bit of tiny bit of bleach damage, which you can heal really quickly. And one super important thing about bleaching, however, is I don't recommend you ever do it yourself. Ever. Unless you have someone who is like super awesome and has access to salon products and whatnot, but never do it yourself. You're always gonna need help, for one. Two, the stuff they sell retail wise is not as kind on your hair as you're gonna want. I have seen horrible things, you guys. I have seen people melt their hair off because they weren't careful about what volume of bleach it was. Just leave it to a professional. Seriously. The bleaching part, not the coloring part, but the bleaching part, leave it to a professional, and it's actually what I'm about to go do. Now, the interesting thing about finding a stylist is it's hard. Like, I'm gonna put that out there right now, you guys. For some strange reason, proper hair bleaching is a hard thing to find a good person for. It's basically like finding a good doctor or a good therapist. It sounds weird and kind of dumb, but trust me, the shit that bleach can do to your hair, you want to shop around. You want to ask other people's opinions. You want to read Yelp reviews and whatnot. You want to see if crazy color is something that they're even really super familiar with, because depending on the area you're in, they might be like, you want to do what? Also, make sure that they're possibly okay with you just going in for the bleach and tone, as opposed to, you know, them wanting to do the whole thing. Also, don't let them talk you out of what you actually want to do. I've run into this a bizarre amount of times where people are like, well, you don't really want your whole head that color. And I'm like, no, I really do. And it does get expensive sometimes, and it's weird, because even if you're like, I understand it's expensive, I understand it's a lot of work, and then sometimes you'll just run into stylists who just don't want to do it, which I find weird, because it's like, I'm gonna give you the money. Like, I got it, I'm good for it. I'll tip you really well if you do a good job of it. I'm not sure if they're just not confident in their own ability or what, but that is something you could possibly run into. But anyway, we are going to go into the salon for my appointment. Haha, psych. Totally gonna end up doing full-on color here, because why not? So it's actually a day later. This is what I ended up with. It's funny because it actually looks brighter in the camera than it does in the mirror and in real life. So this bit is gonna seem a little confusing because of that. A lot of my hair dyeing at home, of the coloring bit, which I mentioned a little bit before. And the reason is because, oh my gosh, I look so tired. I've had a really hard day, you guys. I went to the dentist for the first time. I'll talk about that. Not the first time ever, but like the first time in a very long time. I will talk about that later. She's tired. One of my favorite brands, actually, if not my favorite brand, is Special Effects. The one problem with this fantastic brand, however, is apparently, at least this is what I've heard, they only brew their colors about twice a year, and if they run out of color, you just have to wait. So a lot of people don't like to stock them locally because getting restock on products is kind of a bitch. That's what I heard from one of the places that does sell it locally around here. Usually I do have to buy this online. It's frustrating, but it's true. Mostly because it's usually a little overpriced, and I just don't feel like, sometimes you just need to do a touch-up, you know? Another one you're going to see a lot of is Manic Panic, but Manic Panic, some colors are better than others. I do not like their reds, mostly because they're good for a really quick touch-up, but they will wash out very quickly in my experience. But this, I will usually combine this, and then I will combine this with Enrage color, which I love Enrage color. They're fantastic. My only issue with them is they have like 6 colors. So you don't get a lot of variety, but if you can use this with like either a mix-in, like something to mix in with it, or conditioner or toner to get a different shade of what you want, or maybe mix them together. If you're really good at mixing colors and you're really not looking for a specific shade, like maybe I am, I love this stuff. It stays in. You can get it at Sally Beauty Supply. I'm not sure if that's something that you have all over the US, but definitely it's fairly regular, at least in the Pacific Northwest, I've noticed. But even better is, you know, you can find this pretty easily online as well, and they seem to restock a lot better. So this is gonna go on my head in a mix. We're gonna have some little chemistry fun. Oh, real quick, you want clean, dry hair. Preferably you want something that hasn't been conditioned. So I'm actually gonna wash and blow dry my hair before I put this gunk on. Also, just in case I don't have all the stuff she put in it out last night. Brain is dying! Make sure you're wearing, I like to wear black tank tops for this kind of thing, mostly because it's gonna go over my head fairly easily. If I drop anything on it, it's not gonna show or stain because it's black, so believe for me. Hair's all dry and clean and whatnot and non-conditioned. You need some gloves of a latex variety, preferably something that gives you a little bit of movability. That's totes a word, because I say so. And you're going to want a mixing bowl and a brush. Reason being, this will help you apply it evenly and easier, and really, you only, like, with this stuff, I mean, you can, it's not ammonia-based, there's no chemicals. Well, these aren't, but some brands are even vegan. And you can leave it on your hair pretty much as long as you want. It's not going to damage it. Some of them are even fairly conditioning for your hair. But what you want to make sure is that you have enough to cover your entire head. Because this is a lot more hair than it looks like, apparently, when it comes to mixing stuff. And I'm wearing my dye shirt that can easily be pulled over my head. Oh, and you're going to need it later, but I also use little shower caps, little disposable. They're called salon care caps or whatever, but they're basically a shower cap that's going to keep the dye nice and moist on my head. Okay, so this is all mixed up and all ready to go. Super pretty color. You might want to throw down some dirty towels or whatnot. Make sure it's all... Oh, I killed someone in these gloves. Make sure that it's all good to go. Whatnot. So you don't, you know, stain stuff. Because that's a whole nother vlog entirely about getting stains out. However, so you're going to take, ooh, not a ton of this stuff, but you want to make sure you don't run out of it, basically. I put a tiny bit already on my head because it was on my hands. So you're just going to very slowly or not slowly, very carefully and diligently, just paint it on your head, like thus. And everyone's got other techniques. I'm sure someone's going to come along and be like, Kiri, that's not how you do it. Well, this is how I do it, so. Whooshaw. And you're like, oh, now what? Then you just take this lovely thing on the end of your tint brush and go, oh, look at that. And it makes a nice, lovely part for me. Oh, ow, that hurt. You go like that. And you do it again. And do it again. Some people like to put petroleum jelly around their hairline. I don't. Mostly because, one, if I scrub hard enough, my skin doesn't hold on to dye very well. Also ink, I learned that with Sharpies. Kind of makes an interesting thought of when I get a tattoo. It'll just wash away. But also, petroleum jelly really makes me break out in zits. So it's like, it's win-win for me not to use it, really. You will notice, if your hair is anything like mine, when you don't condition it, it will soak up the dye like crazy. It'll just go nom nom nom, hydration. Again, which is why you want to use the tint brush. Let's get down to business to dye the hair. It will stain everything, so you must beware. All of it is on my head. This bad boy. Oops. Not super dignified, but it works. You can leave this on as long as you'd like, and sometimes I like to leave it on, actually, well into the evening, sometimes while I sleep. But getting it to stay on is sometimes a little trickier than I'd like. You want to trap in heat. Some people use sit by heaters, some people actually have the big fancy hair dryers. I, on the other hand, learned the poor college girl way, which is essentially layering enough stuff on your head, one, so it doesn't move, but also so that the heat that you need applied to your this to help lock in the color is all from your own head. So it saves on electricity. Also, it's a nice cozy way to just exist, and you look really funny. So, I will see you guys in the morning after I've showered this all off. And I'm on the go, but this is what it looks like once I've showered, and it's a little more saturated and pretty, and I'm super excited about it. What? So, that is my hair wisdom for the past 3 days, I guess is what this vlog has been done over, but I'm gonna film another one today, so see you guys later.